Hello everyone, welcome to the Tim Booker channel. Wishing you all a pleasant listening experience. Today, I'll be decoding the book Limitless, with its subtitle, Upgrade Your Brain, Learn Anything Faster, and Unlock Your Exceptional Life. Do you find learning new skills challenging? Do you easily grasp them or struggle immensely? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Many people encounter these feelings when learning something new. They either predefine themselves negatively, I don't like learning, can't do it, won't remember, or they start but abandon it after a few days. Some persist but struggle to find the right methods and end up investing time without much progress. This book aims to address these common learning obstacles. Its subtitle suggests awakening your learning brain rapidly, empowering you to master anything. The author, Jim Kwik, is a world-class brain coach who has trained numerous celebrities like Elon Musk of Tesla, tennis player Novak Djokovic, and Google's founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. He's also been involved in training programs for renowned companies like Google, Nike, General Electric, as well as Harvard and Caltech. After training many corporate employees and university students, Kwik believes that those entering or already in the workforce need these learning methods the most. Often, individuals lose the willingness to learn once they enter society, accepting their perceived limitations. However, Kwik asserts that entering the workforce requires an even stronger commitment to continuous learning, staying updated with the latest developments in one's field and exploring opportunities in other domains. Interestingly, Kwik himself wasn't naturally gifted in learning. He had a rough start due to a childhood brain injury, which made teachers perceive him as a child with a broken brain. His focus and memory declined, and it took him 3 years to learn how to read. Understanding teachers in class was a significant challenge. Nevertheless, driven by his determination and aided by peers and teachers, he managed to stumble through and get into college. However, college demanded faster progress and more self-driven learning, with limited guidance from teachers. Despite his high school-level efforts, his grades plummeted, leading him to contemplate dropping out. Still, he persisted quietly. Once, while studying in the library for an extended period, he fainted and remained unconscious for 2 days in the hospital. It was there, seeing a quote on a teacup handed to him by a nurse, "The level of thinking that has created the problem is not the level of thinking that will solve it," by Einstein, that he had an epiphany. For years, he had battled with focus, learning, and his own sense of inadequacy but had never questioned his learning methods. He had overcome learning difficulties by working 10 times harder and dedicating extensive time to studying. But what if there was a more efficient and enjoyable way to learn? This thought consumed him, leading him to obsess over the question, how to learn how to learn. Upon discharge, he delved into books on neuroscience, cognitive psychology, and education to understand how the brain functions. He discovered that the brain possesses unlimited potential, shaped by actions and the surrounding environment. By altering his brain's operational methods, he freed himself from the forced learning state, enhancing his reading speed, comprehension, and igniting a profound interest in learning. He felt a newfound drive for learning. Thus began his quest to summarize and teach this learning method to others. Despite his brain injury, he believed he could enhance brain capabilities through this method. For those without such injuries, this approach could unlock infinite possibilities and reshape their lives. Over the following 20-plus years, he continuously synthesized numerous viewpoints and methods, observing and summarizing experiences in practical applications, culminating in a comprehensive methodology. To achieve efficient learning goals. 1. Break restrictive thinking patterns and redefine oneself. 2. Cultivate sustainable, robust motivation. 3. Discover core objectives that inspire you, enter the state of flow consistently, and learn and think using the correct methods. Next, I'll decode this book following these 3 steps for you. Step 1. Break restrictive thinking patterns, redefine yourself. Have you ever experienced this? Your boss asks you to present achievements in front of your department. It's an excellent chance to showcase your abilities, but you feel immense pressure. There's a constant voice in your head saying you're not good enough. So, you make excuses and pass on the opportunity. Your boss then asks others to present, and afterward, similar tasks no longer come your way. This further reinforces your belief that you can't deliver a good performance. Restrictive thinking is how we define and anticipate ourselves, what we believe we can or cannot achieve. But in reality, can't you really do it? From a neurological perspective, our brains contain around 100 billion neurons, each connected to about 10,000 others. It generates over 70,000 thoughts a day, processing information much faster than any computer. Moreover, our brains possess high plasticity, reshaping themselves based on surroundings and demands placed upon them. Neurologist Eleanor Maguire conducted a study on London taxi drivers' brains. The results showed that compared to individuals similar in age, education, and intelligence but not taxi drivers, the hippocampus in taxi drivers' brains was larger, as if their brains had expanded. Researchers speculate this is because taxi drivers need to navigate complex streets and landmarks, memorizing numerous routes, which led their brains to create more intricate neural pathways. These pathways altered the brain structure and the size of certain brain regions. Hence, our brains hold limitless potential. What truly stops you is the limitation you impose on yourself. Similar to how the author's restrictive thinking was that of a brain-damaged child, believing that even working 10 times harder might not result in success. To break self-imposed limitations, you need to identify the source of the voice in your head saying you can't. Why are you afraid of public speaking? Did you genuinely mess up a work report? Were your preparations inadequate, or did you falter during the presentation? Were you ridiculed by someone afterward, or did your boss suggest finding a job where you don't have to speak? Perhaps you didn't actually mess up, but seeing others perform exceptionally well made you feel inadequate, causing you to retreat automatically. Or maybe it's because as a child, you were labeled by adults. For instance, during a speech competition, you forgot your lines and cried on stage. The teacher said, "This child isn't suitable for public speaking," leading you to avoid such activities since then. When delving into these self-limiting thoughts in your mind, consider two things. First, is there evidence proving that you genuinely lack or have problems facing a task? Second, is this evidence genuine, or is it distorted pseudo-proof resulting from your inner criticism and doubts? Once you assess the reality of the situation, you can confront the "I can't" voice. For instance, if you find yourself thinking, "I messed this up last time," you can counter with facts. "My previous materials were insufficient. I can learn from my colleagues' excellent presentation slides." Or, if you discover that you weren't good at public speaking as a child and lost confidence, you can argue that not excelling in the past doesn't mean you can't do it now. You can even create a clownish character for this inner voice. When the clown says, "You can't do it," mock it, saying, "You miserable clown," spreading negativity. Get out of here. The better you become at distinguishing between this voice and the real you, the more efficiently you can prevent restrictive thinking from hindering you, fostering healthier thinking patterns. After breaking the limitations in thinking, the next step is to create strong and sustainable motivation. We all know action follows motivation. But how do you maintain consistent drive? The author presents a formula: continuous intrinsic motivation equals purpose multiplied by energy multiplied by small, simple steps. Let's unpack this formula. The first factor is purpose. When you're clear about who you want to become, why you're taking action, and what you hope to achieve, you naturally ignite passion for the task. This process involves finding what you love, something that continuously brings novelty and excitement. However, finding passion isn't easy. The author found his in a love for learning, which helped him enter realms of infinite possibilities. His purpose was to teach others to learn, enabling them to surpass their learning limits. The author suggests a method. When you want to do something, write down why you want to do it, especially your personal feelings. For instance, wanting to learn computer programming to escape a current job causing distress, or learning a new language to explore a broader world. This emotional connection is potent support for your purpose. The second factor is energy. If you're often fatigued or mentally drained, it's hard to muster enthusiasm for anything. If you compare the brain to a car, only with quality fuel does it run efficiently. What comprises quality fuel? It boils down to 4 points: eating well, sleeping well, exercising, and managing stress. Food significantly impacts health and brain function. Being conscious of consuming brain-boosting foods in your daily diet is essential. Regarding good eating, the author recommends over 10 brain-boosting foods: avocados, blueberries, broccoli, dark chocolate, eggs, leafy greens, salmon, turmeric, walnuts, and water, among others. Additionally, check out the book Brain Food we recently listened to, which explores foods beneficial for the human brain. The brain also needs adequate and high-quality sleep. During sleep, it forms and maintains neural pathways, the foundation for learning and memory. Sleep also acts as a cleansing process, clearing toxins accumulated in the brain while awake. Regular exercise not only maintains good physical health but also protects memory and cognitive abilities, thereby improving brain function. Research at Columbia University found that frequent aerobic exercise, especially activities intensively engaging the heart and sweating, can increase the volume of the hippocampus, responsible for language, memory, and learning. Effective stress management aids in replenishing brain energy. When stressed, a hormone called cortisol is released. Accumulation of excess cortisol can hinder the brain's normal functioning, slowing down reactions under prolonged stress. Therefore, managing stress appropriately helps boost energy. The third factor in a sustained motivational strategy is small and simple steps. Many have experienced creating a great plan, starting confidently, only to give up shortly. Or knowing what to do next but procrastinating. Why? Partly because the task at hand is too difficult. Despite having an enticing vision for life, immediate difficulties discourage us from starting. So, the author suggests breaking significant tasks into smaller, simpler ones, then advancing at a baby's pace, one step at a time, even half a step, continually revisiting the starting point. The author calls this method repeating small and simple steps. For instance, if you want to self-study an economics course, planning to cover 3 chapters at once or finishing the entire course in a month is overwhelming. Instead, treating each chapter as a small task, revisiting and understanding each one before moving on, makes the entire course easier to sustain. When you have a clear purpose, abundant energy, and simple executable steps, you're more likely to enter a state of flow. Flow, proposed by Hungarian psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, refers to being completely absorbed in an activity, where nothing else seems to matter. This experience itself brings immense pleasure. Flow greatly enhances work efficiency. The higher your work efficiency, the greater your motivation. In summary, motivation leads to flow, and flow breeds motivation. You've now shattered the constraints in thinking and gained formidable motivation. Moving on to the third step, it's about mastering the correct methods for learning and thinking. In this section, we focus on 3 aspects: focus, learning, and thinking. For any task, focus is fundamental, and learning methods are diverse. After mastering these methods, you must establish your own way of thinking to genuinely engage in independent thinking. Let's begin with focus. If you liken your consciousness to a glowing sphere, maintaining focus means keeping this sphere in the right place. For instance, when conversing with someone, the glowing sphere should be on your conversation. If reading a work report, it should be on the report's text. Once it deviates, you need to pull it back. You'll notice the sphere can only be in one place at a time. So, while doing something, focus completely on it, don't engage in other tasks simultaneously. If the sphere tends to wander, check your environment for clutter. Clearing a cluttered desk or storing your phone away helps maintain focus. Research indicates that switching between content requires about 20 minutes for proper engagement. Some struggle because they are overwhelmed with concerns. The author recommends a breathing method developed by Dr. Andrew Weil to clear mental clutter. It's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Close your mouth, gently inhale through your nose, silently counting to 4. Hold your breath, silently counting from 5 to 7. Then completely exhale through your mouth, continuing to count to 8. Repeat this breathing cycle 3 times, totaling 4 breaths. To aid focus, the author suggests scheduling specific distraction times. For example, allocate 10 minutes every hour to handle emails or take a break. Moving on to learning. How do you master effective learning methods? Many recall learning quickly during their student days but struggle to retain new information after starting work. Recalling your student days, it was about previewing before class, reviewing after, and revising before exams. This efficient learning method reinforced your understanding continually. Hence, the author recommends summarizing and refining learning methods from your student days. First, use your entire brain to listen. In a workplace context, learning may not mirror a traditional classroom setting. When listening, block out unrelated noises and focus solely on the speaker. Previewing the speaker's background helps understand their perspective during the conversation, even for impromptu discussions. Additionally, approach listening with anticipation because learning depends on your mental state. If you admire certain traits of a communicator, like their attire or humor, listening becomes more engaging. Moreover, the author advises not just listening but engaging in dialogue. Repeat what was said to ensure comprehension or seek clarification if something is unclear. The second learning method involves effective note-taking. The real aim of note-taking is serving yourself. Customize information in your habitual language and thinking pattern. One method mentioned is the capture and create note-taking approach. Divide a page into two halves, capture information on the left side and create your interpretations on the right. Include thoughts upon hearing a viewpoint, areas needing further details, and connections to your existing knowledge. Lastly, reviewing. Immediate and spaced repetition are key aspects. After a class or study session, review immediately using the active recall method, reread, write down what you recall, compare it with the material, and revisit any missed details. Neurologists suggest a minimum of 4 active recall sessions during initial learning for optimal results. But this doesn't mean you're done after 4 times. Schedule spaced repetition, like the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, review material the day after, then on the 4th, 7th, and 15th days. This Ebbinghaus method significantly enhances memory for any study material, maximizing memory efficiency. Learned how to learn, and finally, the author hopes you'll learn to think. The author recommends the concept of 6 thinking hats by the renowned thinking expert Dr. Edward de Bono. These 6 thinking hats refer to the white, yellow, black, red, green, and blue hats, each representing a different thinking mode. When facing a situation, start with the blue hat, entering the management mode. Identify the problem at hand. Then, don the white hat, envisioning yourself in a lab coat collecting experimental data. This signifies entering the information gathering mode, focusing on gathering comprehensive information needed to solve the problem. Switch to the yellow hat, basking in bright sunshine, embracing a positive, cheerful feeling. In this stage, seek positive factors and find value within the matter. Next, put on the black hat, imagining yourself as a judge in a black robe. Here, contemplate difficulties and pitfalls. Then, the red hat signifies emotions. Consider the problem emotionally, making intuitive judgments about solutions. Move on to the green hat, analyzing the problem rationally, entering the creative mode. Imagine a fresh green field where inspiration is found. Finally, return to your blue hat. Re-enter the management mode, ensuring the prior processes are effectively completed, symbolized by the clear blue sky indicating problem resolution. In summary, this method defines steps for thinking. First, understand the problem. Second, ensure all necessary facts are available. Third, handle the problem with a positive perspective. Fourth, face challenges. Fifth, acknowledge genuine feelings. Sixth, approach problems from unprecedented angles, unleashing imagination. Seventh, return to the starting point, ensuring the cycle resolves the problem. To build a learning brain, 3 steps are essential: breaking limiting thought patterns, creating sustainable motivation, and mastering concentration, learning methods, and thinking. The author expresses that if an egg is broken by external force, life ends; if broken by internal force, life begins. Miracles always start from within. After reading this book, the hope is for you to find inner strength to create infinite possibilities. The book concludes here. Did you gain new insights into learning after listening? Feel free to share in the comments. Congratulations on completing another book. Thank you for listening to the Tim Booker channel. Subscribe, like, and share this valuable knowledge with friends. Let's combine wisdom and practice to achieve financial goals and create a better future. Thank you all, goodbye.